Welcome to the MuseCast, where we squeeze every last drop of inspiration out of Sunday's sermon.
Ready? Oh. Okay.
Well, you said ready.
I had a qualifier.
Yeah.
I was going to say ready as I will ever be, which I guess is now.
There you go. Well, can I say something? And this is,
Yeah.
I hope it's not a harbinger of something worse, but
Oh dear.
I get the little finger click where my finger just clicks, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Oh,
when I'm not.
Oh, yeah. It's not a harbinger. I think it's just your inner child that likes to be goofy and prankstery, and it's just like coming out.
Yeah,
We're gonna click that button. That's what
Yeah,
it is.
that must be it.
Nothing untoward to worry about there.
Good.
Dan Kent.
That's me, Shawna Boren.
That is you. Happy Muse Day, first of all.
Yeah, happy Muse Day.
The final MuseCast of Revelation that we know of. Listen, who the heck knows?
It's only Tuesday, so you never know what could happen.
You never know. And also, didn't Greg kind of say in our meeting yesterday that like we skipped a lot, so we could go another pass through. So.
Yeah. Well, and it's maybe an indicator that we skipped a lot is that we got a lot of questions in. So
we did get a lot of questions in. So I think today, I'm just guessing, I think we're going to wrap it up. We're going to, get your world famous summary, and we're going to hit some questions and maybe just share. It may not have to be specific to Greg's particular sermon anticipation, but I'm so proud of myself. Did you see that? It can be that, but it can also be just like all-encompassing revelation because we're wrapping it up. We are wrapping it up. So we got some questions in that kind of hit a couple of different things. And I think that's what we're going to do. Sound good to you?
That sounds great. Yes.
Is your air conditioning working okay? Because I need you to be nice and cool and ready for the heat that's coming right now.
That's right. And can you hear my air conditioner?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, I'm going to leave it going then.
Oh, yeah. No, I have a massive fan going. Can you hear mine?
No.
Okay, good. Because I'm bringing the heat, Dan. I'm bringing the heat. It's going to be hot.
It is.
Revelation.
Yeah. It is.
Questions and wrap
That's
up.
Right. That's right.
It's going to
All right.
good.
We're ready to go then, right? Is that what you're saying?
Anticipation.
Right.
Yeah.
Anticipation. Now, he was going to call it something else. I don't remember what the other title was. So there's no point in me. All right. Now I do want to find out what he was going to call it. Hold on a second.
Yeah, me too. Okay, great. Now I'm going to look.
He was going to call it. No, not counting sheep. Oh, coming soon.
Coming soon.
Yeah. Well, because I crossed it out and it looked like counting, but never mind. Okay.
No.
Last sermon of the sub-series, The End is the Beginning. And The End is the Beginning is the last sub-series of Revelation in our big series called The Unveiling, where we're looking at how the book of Revelation unveils the truth of everything, including who God is, who we are, who our enemy is, and so forth. And so now we're into chapter 22. And chapter 22 kind of talks about how everything comes together, which is what I talked about the week before, how the vision that John has wraps up all of these themes, even these subterranean themes that go through scripture. And Revelation 22 sort of wraps that up. That's the first half of 22. Then the second half, there's this strange epilogue. And it's this epilogue where John is talking, then Jesus keeps interrupting, saying, basically telling people to get ready, I'm coming soon, and be prepared. And so it's a very strange thing, but it's also, I think, important because that coming soon message has sort of been there all along. But the fact that it's mentioned like 5 times in this epilogue is sort of, I think, John and Jesus's way of saying, whatever you take from this, be ready. be on guard, and so I think it's important for that reason. But now this idea of Jesus coming soon, what does that even mean? A lot of the language that's used about that is covenantal, and it has to do with the marriage covenant between the bride and the bridegroom. And back then, once you proposed and she said yes, then the dude would go away and prepare a place. And that's sort of the language that's used about where we're at in history, where the church now is waiting for the return of the bridegroom. Now, that's the language that's used, but really, technically, when you read some of the discussion in the text in the New Testament about Jesus's return, the Greek word there means that Jesus will appear soon. And so Greg made the argument, and I tend to agree with him, that he will appear soon or he will manifest soon is probably more accurate. And it's also, in a way, more comforting because it affirms the reality that Jesus isn't like in some far off place. He is still here. He's just not here in the way that he will be eventually. Now, during this time, we are in this time where there is this purging, and so it's not pleasant all of the time, but we can take hope in this this promise that Jesus will appear soon. So the question then is, what does it look like for us, the bride, to live with this expectation, this anticipation of the appearing of the bridegroom? Well, Greg kind of leaves us with these 3 points to ponder as we think about this. The first one is to live with hopeful anticipation, to not let despair and anxiety and depression overwhelm us, and to continue to live in that hopeful anticipation. The second thing is to have a sense of urgency about who we are becoming and how we are treating one another and how we are treating ourselves and the earth and the animal kingdom. Really all 4 directions of love there. And then the third thing is, because what God is doing here is corporate in nature, we are together, we are the bride. Greg encouraged us to invite others to join us on this special kind of life. Another way of saying that is to be hospitable. And really, he made the argument that the cross itself is sort of the ultimate expression of open hospitality. And I'll be honest, I left the service a little bit early because we had cupcakes afterward.
You did.
And so I helped your husband, Scott, with the cupcakes. Did. So I think I got it all, but I might have missed something at the end.
Is it me?
It's you, yeah, yes.
Okay.
And now, our reporter on the scene, Shawna Boren.
Sorry. Oh my goodness. You didn't miss anything. Only thing you missed was Greg's in real time realization that his time was off.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, I need to hurry." I think you and Scott were even talking about that because you kind of knew where he was and you were like, he's got to get going.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all you officially missed, but you didn't even really miss that because you knew it. Yeah. Anticipation. What a time we have had in this series. And I thought that Greg kind of highlighting and the tying together of the themes that we have seen thus far, and then really, drilling into the "I am coming soon, get ready" language. I will say that, similar to Greg, I think that pretty much sums up that phrase, "I'm coming soon," and all of that is entailed and meant. I think that really has a lot to do with my initial aversion to studying and teaching Revelation, because so much of it was about this "I'm coming soon" and what that means and what that looks like and what has to be done. And we're getting out of here, and, sucks for all of you that are left behind and all that kind of stuff. And so overall, and I know I'm certain I've said this probably a dozen times throughout the 3 years that we've been doing this series. Overall, I'm just so profoundly grateful for an opportunity to really dive in with our community through these passages and scriptures, and for the paradigm shifts and the reframes and truly, no pun intended, but all the pun intended, the unveiling that has occurred. What a perfect overarching title for Revelation, the unveiling, because so much has been unveiled. And one of the things that Greg said, I had to text it to myself because we were getting ready for the Revelation celebration. And so, but one of the things that he said is, he was talking about like whatever will be true should be true for us now. We should be like trying to emulate that now. And whatever will be, cast away, whatever will be false, we should kind of rid ourselves of now. And gosh, that's just what this unveiling has been all about. And from my perspective. And when he talked about, and I agree with him and with you, the better way to translate the I'm coming soon is more I will appear, or I will manifest, because I'm coming soon. First of all, define soon, because Lord, oh Lord, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. But also, it's like, no, we know Jesus is present. So coming indicates that he's gone, and he's not gone. And so, manifest or appear soon, I think, is a better way to put it, because that's one of the things we've talked about throughout the series, is that the presence is there. It's just he will become unveiled. He will become manifest in full. And so, I'm just profoundly grateful. Great job, you, and all the work that you did throughout the course of the series. Especially, you did some heavy hitting in this last little stretch.
Oh, yeah. So
good job.
Well, it was, well, you too. I mean, you did a bunch of, just about every series you did you know what was really cool was that recap video they did at the beginning, before Greg got up there. That was fun to see, the way they tied that together. Kudos, Emily. That was fun. So I was on there a little bit, but I don't remember saying any of that stuff. So do you remember saying the stuff that you said?
I remember saying that the enemy was a dirty dog liar, because that is something I say. So I do remember that. I don't remember the context or why I said it. And I don't remember how when I was like, finally, I don't remember that. But that is funny. And just how it all tied together. I thought that was cute.
Yeah.
And I will say, yes, I'm so thankful that that's the way they decided to end it, instead of us going through another horrendous mystery box situation. So.
Well, and they didn't even have the mystery box in the video.
I
was surprised. Yeah,
thank God. Good. PTSD. No one needs to live through that anymore.
That's right. Yes.
All right. Well, Dan, thank you for your final Revelation summary.
Yeah, and it feels a little anticlimactic, but I will say that, Greg did have some good summarizing material in there.
He did.
Especially just living in anticipation of coming soon. And I thought that was good. Yeah. But to your point too about that, Jesus will be revealed, not necessarily come from some far off place, but he's here and then he'll be revealed. The first time I heard that, I don't know if you're familiar with a thinker and a writer named N.T. Wright.
I think I've heard of him.
Yeah. Well, and I might have shared this before too. In fact, this is him right here. I don't know if you can see that. Hey, hold on a second. I see that. That's about 6.5 inches of book there on the spine. So I have a robust N.T. Wright collection here.
Yes, you do. You do.
But I met him once in 2003, I think. And I didn't really meet him. I just went to one of his talks, so.
Okay.
I call him N, just because we have a good vibe.
Your buds. Now. Your buds.
That's right. Yeah. But it was at a theology conference. So a lot of heady stuff, where, the tone of a theology conference is kind of like, interesting. Oh, I disagree with that. Have you considered? So that's sort of like the tone of it. Well, I went to NT Wright and I was just like, and so a totally different vibe.
I believe it.
Because he broke down this verse, and I don't remember which verse it was, where he broke down the Greek, and it said that Jesus will appear. And he made the point that Greg made, which is that Jesus is with us and God is near. And it's not that God has left us. It's that he will be present in a much more spectacular way. And so that was the first time I heard that was from NT Wright, and it was
so good.
Pretty wild. Yeah.
Well, let me hop on this NT Wright train for just a moment, just to say, I think we can all agree that there has been much throughout the series that was deep, that was thick, that took some digging, right, to get into and to figure out, and then to know like what you wanted to say to the people, and what you wanted everyone to hear and all that. And there were several times personally, like when I was studying for a sermon or something, and if it was just seeming like I was getting too bogged down, I'd go to NT Wright, Revelation for Everyone, and I would because he just has a way of like I say, coming up for air, and then and almost poetically like describing things, and it just helped to kind of reorient my brain, and it just it was a refreshing break. It was still thick, it was still deep knowledge, but it was just different. And so yes, thankful for that.
I bought NT Wright's Revelation for Everyone, and I don't think I ever went to it. I feel
you did it.
No, I'm kicking myself because I bought it on the Kindle. Because it was I think it was like $2. It was like on sale or something.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, good. Well, I'll use this as we're going through. Well, I never did. And so now at the back end, we got to
redo it.
Right.
We got to redo it. We got to go.
I think so. I mean, my sermons would have been so much better.
Oh my goodness. No, it is good. And mine's on Kindle as well. Yeah. Cause it was good. Cause I just thought potentially I might look at this. Cause we had so many other resources we were using. Yeah. It was just even for a mental, breath. It was a lifesaver. So there we go. There's that. Yep. We got some questions, Dan Kent. Can I test your Revelation brain knowledge?
Hit me.
Hit ya. Okay. Let me find them. Oofta is right. All right. Okay. So this is back in Revelation 22:5, verse 5, I should say. Anyway, there will be no more night. The light of God will replace the need for lamps, as well as the need of light from the sun. The question is, will the light of God replace the need for a sun altogether? How about the moon? They are part of all creation. That verse doesn't say, but we may still need the sun for heat.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that
people have thoughts and questions that I just don't even would never consider. I love it. It's great.
Well, it's a great question too. But here's my reading on it. First of all, yes, we're going to have the sun and the moon, because who doesn't like to be out and see the moon and all of that? And that's part of the beauty of creation, and that's part of what we've always looked to as is that thing that says there must be a God. And I mean, the sun itself is just such a miraculous thing that it produces life, and that we get vitamins from that light. It's just a weird thing, And so, yeah, I think we're going to have the sun. I think the point there isn't that we don't need the sun. The point is that God's light will be present, and we won't need the anything in creation for what we need it for now. Because I think what people don't realize is like when I come downstairs and it's kind of dark and I'm looking for something, I literally just go flick and then blah, and there's like light emanating everywhere, and it's like it's not that big of a deal. But if you had to live by lamp, I mean, the amount of work, it's a part-time job, keeping the fuel and all of the lamps. And then you gotta and then it's not that good. And then it drips all over the place and things start on fire.
Fire hazard.
Right. And the fact is that without that light, if you're just in the darkness, you are you're vulnerable to predators, to thieves, so you need that light, but it's all this work. And so I think what God is saying there is that you won't need those things to protect yourself anymore. You will have the light of the Lord. In other words, you'll have the security of God. That's what I think is being said there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. I agree with you. I don't know for certain what all it's going to look like. But I agree that that the scriptures talks about creation being redeemed. And so for me, that's all of it, right? And so I can't imagine, sun, meh, moon. I just think the purpose that we have utilized them for will be different because our needs will be different. Because guess what? We're just going to be in this fullness state. So I just look forward to the creativity of all of it, the way God intended it, without all of the mess of it. You know what I mean? So yeah, good answer, Dan Kent.
Hey,
moving on. Good question. Thank you for sending that in. Okay. In this section of live in the hopeful anticipation, it was mentioned that we need to go through suffering to get to good. I remember this during the live stream. My question is, why do we need to go through suffering to get to good?
So here, I'd say a couple things. I'll answer that on two levels. I don't think there's anything philosophically or logically necessary to go through suffering to get to good. There is in philosophy and in theology something called a greater good defense, and what that is that when you look at the evil and suffering in the world, people will say that God has that here because those evils bring about a greater good. I don't hold that view. I think that when God placed Adam and Eve in the garden and he said it was all good and they had access to the tree and they, all that, I think that they could have learned whatever they needed to learn without disobeying God, without the suffering. It's just that they did. They opened up the door to evil and suffering. And now, because we are born in that not God realm, now contingently, we have to go through suffering in order to get back to good, because being born in this world, we sort of take on these barnacles, these ungodly things, and those ungodly things need to be removed in order for us to enter purely into God's kingdom. And so I think that only because of the context that we're born into, this not God context, only because of that do we need to pass through suffering to get to good. I don't think that's inherently the case. In fact, I would say this is not the way that God wanted it to be. But this is the way that it happened, and God doesn't give up on us. And so that's why now he wants us with him. We have to pass through this. That's how I would answer that.
2 for 2, Dan. I agree again.
Hey, all right.
I think again, from almost the jump, this story that we were a part of was the contingency plan. It wasn't the original plan because they chose. You talked about the two-way tradition. They chose not God, and that opened the door. And so we live and we're born into and function within a not God atmosphere. And so we get to choose. Now, I don't think that suffering is mandated. I just think it's a reality that happens. Just like if you look at crops, if you look at flowers, there's a process, there's a cycle, there's a process of birth and growth and death and rebirth and all, you know what I mean? That's the way it is. And I think that God is with us in it. I don't think that's what he intended for us. And so I hope that's a helpful thing. I think I get nervous that when people hear that, they read it as, God up there going, you got to suffer first before you can get to the good. No, that's just the reality that we live in. And I don't think it will always be that way. All right. You got time for one more, Dan?
Let me check my calendar. Yep, I'm good.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, I think I lied to people because these are all pretty much kind of from Greg's sermon, or the last couple weeks anyway. Okay. Greg skipped over the warnings given in verses 18 and 19 about adding to or subtracting from the words of the prophecy. But isn't that precisely what John is doing when he reworks the prophecy from Ezekiel 48 that was covered a few weeks ago? Another good question.
Yeah. I did look up some thoughts on this. I think it is a good question. The way that I look at it, when you look at the things that John does with Ezekiel's prophecy, is John is sort of kind of bringing it, he's fulfilling it. He's saying, okay, this is what Ezekiel said. This is what that prophecy looks like now, given what we know about Christ and given this encounter that I've had, this is what that looks like. So he's not negating it. He's not poo-pooing it. He is just filling it out.
Yeah.
And I think that that's just another way of saying that what we've read throughout the New Testament, that now in Christ we have the light, whereas in the Old Testament we had shadows, and that includes the prophets. They didn't have as clear of a picture until Jesus came, and so I think when he says don't add to this or subtract, I think he's saying that it's done, it's fulfilled. It's another way of answering the question, well, how come there isn't a new testament, like a newer testament? Like, how come all the religious writings are done now? Like, how come there's no more? And the reason is because it's finished. Like, what God wanted to do has been completed in Christ, and now it's the time of talking about these things is over. The time for living it out has begun, and that's a harder time. But that's where we're at. So that's how I would answer it. It might not be a great answer, but I do think that that's right, because you look at some of the Older Testament, and they do have comments like that in there. Don't add or subtract to this. And then here comes John, basically, making a big deal out of Ezekiel's prophecy. So it's kind of, maybe I'm just going in circles at this point. But I think the phrase on one hand is kind of not trademark. It's kind of like stock. It's like a stock phrase, kind of like "thank you for your attention to this matter," that kind of thing. I hope. What's the other one that you see in emails? I hope this email finds you well.
Find you well.
Yeah. Like,
you don't want to know how this email finds you. Trust me.
Exactly. Right. But even beyond that, it's like, is that really what your hope is?
Right.
Hope, you're sitting there hoping that the email finds me well. I mean, come on.
Oh, please.
Right. So I think part of it is that, but then part of it is also just the fact that what John is saying is that everything that God wants to do is complete. There's nothing more to add, but you also can't take anything away from this. So
I like it. No notes. Mainly because I hadn't thought about it, really. Oh, it has been a time, Dan.
It has.
I have a question for you that you didn't know I was going to ask you. And this is almost an impossible question, but like, as you, in this moment, reflect ever so briefly back on the last 3 years, over 90 sermons in Revelation, what is just one in particular thing that has stood out to you?
I think, well, let me give a little context to why this stuck out.
Okay.
Because what the expectations that I brought into Revelation was that this would kind of show me now all of the things that God is doing and things that are happening on the spiritual realm and kind of global, kind of big things that are happening. And so that's what I assumed the book would be about. And to a certain extent, that's right. But so given that I expected that, what I was really surprised at again and again and again throughout the entire Revelation was that just the emphasis on human faithfulness and being faithful to God. Like I didn't anticipate that personal sort of challenge, and not just once, but like repeatedly throughout the entire book. So that's probably what really surprised me. Is that call to faithfulness.
Stand out for you? Yeah. Mine is similar in that call to faithfulness. And it's not a one-sided call. It's not as if we are being called to this faithfulness that is not displayed back to us. And what I mean by that is this, like, for a while, I had the questions of, is it a different Jesus that shows up in the end? Because of very predominant, popular interpretations of Jesus coming back as warrior king, kicking tail, taking names, right? Tombstone. We've talked about that. But the realization that it's the same. Like, Jesus didn't have a lobotomy. He didn't have a personality change. It is the same. And when he returns as the warrior, it's the lamb. And the weapons he uses are truth and self-sacrifice. And so the call to be faithful is one that can be trusted, because that faithfulness is there for us. It has always been and will always be. And so I can trust that the Jesus that drew me, the one that was on the cross that drew me, is the same one that returns victorious in the end. And it's not a different Jesus. And so that's just been the largest standout, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense, because especially since the book is so famously wacky, you wonder, is this a threat to the familiar and kind of alluring Jesus that I already know?
Yeah.
And so that totally makes sense. And it feels good when you see that same Jesus in there.
Yeah, so. Good stuff. Well, Dan, it'd be lovely if we could just say, we're done with Revelation. Let's all go on a break. Let's all take a nice vacation. Yeah. Let's just sit back and relax. But that's not the way it goes. We got some stuff coming up. So we kick off a new series this weekend, Reel to Reel. And then we have our summer get together, and we're hoping folks will come in for that. And, then fall kickoff stuff. And so we're kind of right back at it. People pray for Dan. He's been a busy man. He's been a busy boy, and he needs refreshment.
Well, I'll take all the prayer I can get, but I tell you what, I'm loving it, and I've it was really great. I loved doing I got 3 shots at that last sub series, and I was very grateful for that. So I love it. I'm very grateful.
So good. Do you have it in you, Dan Kent, for a final revelation nugget?
I think so.
Oh!
Whoa!
We got it. I love it. Okay. We are in nugget time. Do you want a nugget first or nugget last? Let me just tell you this. My nugget is a straight ripoff from Greg that I, again, texted myself because I thought it was good.
Well, let's end with that then, because I think I'm worried that mine might drift a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and mine's also really quick. So,
okay, love it.
I'll just say, in Philippians, Paul is writing to the Philippians, and he gives them this promise that is kind of meant to comfort them, and that is that to take heart that God will finish what he starts. Mm-hmm. And it's really cool to see, first of all, what God had started, going back to like Genesis and seeing what God originally wanted everything to be like. And then to see in the prophets what the prophets anticipate that will look like when God finishes what he starts. And then to now come full circle into the book of Revelation, where John sees these visions to see what God is doing in the world and what that will look like when it culminates into this completed vision. And so I guess as a way of kind of leaving this series, and if people are like me, they will continue to think about some of these concepts. But one thing to think about is to just rest in that promise that God will finish what He starts, and when that happens, it's beautiful, and it will fulfill all of the desires and the needs of our hearts, and also, given how, it's so easy to get very discouraged, like, you know, I'm coming soon, like you said, it's been 2000 years. What is your definition of soon here? But at the same time, it also shows God's steadfastness and His patience, and that's a good thing too. So
Yeah.
that is my final revelation nugget.
I love it. My nugget is twofold. Like I said, it's a ripoff from something Greg said, but also a ripoff from something you and I have said over and over again. Kind of our mantra verse of the MuseCast, which is, "In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world." And to me, that is revelation. It is like, I have overcome. I have overcome. And so living anchored in that hope and in that faith is the call. In the midst of the chaos, in the midst of the uncertainty, in the midst of the polarization, in the midst of the heat, the smoke, the cold, whatever it is, the broken relationships, the broken bodies, all of it, in this world we'll have trouble, but He has overcome the world. And we see that promise fulfilled in Revelation. And so that is something that we can, stake our claim in. We can, draw that line in the sand and know that we're on the right side of things. Greg said, "Be careful not to throw out the true baby with the apocalyptic bathwater." I love that, because I think that's what I had done in my thoughts of Revelation. So the unveiling and all of that has entailed in the last 3 years has really caused me to refocus on the main character, Jesus, and again, our call to be faithful to Him, because He has been faithful to us. So you can leave all the wackiness. I know people still have questions about some of that, and they'll hear some of that from people in their lives or other teachers or whatever. You can, if you want to still, I don't know, whatever with that, but just don't throw out the baby, the lamb, the Jesus with apocalyptic bathwater. It has been a glorious time, glorious season in Revelation, and I'm thankful for it. Thankful for you, Dan. Thankful for all of you guys for being here throughout it, and thankful for all that we've learned together. It's been good.
Yeah. Good. Well, what a great nugget to end the series on. That's perfect.
There we go.
Yep.
The bow has been tied. Dan Kent, just because Revelation is over, does that mean that we don't need to hear from people? We don't want their questions or their comments. Yeah. So keep them coming. But where?
Let me get the old lightsaber out. Right down here. Right down there.
I should have known. You turned. You had something going on. I love it. MuseCast at whchurch.org. Follow the lightsaber.
That's right. Well, what's interesting is that part of the reason why I love doing that every once in a while is because it looks like a lightsaber on Zoom, but here it doesn't. It's just blah. It's just a big bright light.
It's an orb.
It's an
orb. Nice. Very good. Hey, you guys, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate the heck out of you. We will see you next week. We'll be in a new series. Until then, take care of yourselves. Are you looking for the button?
I am, yes. Thank you, yes.
And take care of one another.
All right, see ya.